This is Sam Kratochvil and Brian Balquist presenting to you why the best person for you is an intensive subsistence, wet rice dominant farmer. This is Zhang Wei, and he lives in Southeast Asia, more specifically in East China. His job is as an intensive subsistence, wet rice dominant farmer. But what is that? It is farming for the primary purpose of providing for oneself and family. The farmer cultivates a small area of land using simple tools and intense manual labor, and consumes a majority of the food produced, resulting in little to no income. Wet rice farming involves the planting of rice on dry land, then later moving the seedlings to a flooded field, promoting growth. Because the farmer depends on his own production, a farmer can starve if his crops do not do well. This is considered the most intensive of all farming methods. Let's talk about the basics of wet rice farming. Intensive subsistence wet rice dominant farming is found primarily in eastern and southern Asia. These farmers grow various types of rice, typically the strand that is most economical in their region. This style of farming requires hot, wet climates with lots of rain. Flat land with clay containing fertile soil is best for this farming. In hilly places, steps are carved out in the land so that the crops are more easily cultivated. Most of the labor is done manually, though some work is done by animals, most commonly water buffaloes. The common wet rice farmer is Chinese or of another Southeast Asia country. China employs over 300 million farmers. Most likely they are one of China's major religions, Buddhism, Christianity, or Hinduism, although they may be another. These farmers spend most of each day farming, but in return get just enough rice to sustain themselves and their family. Let's talk about the process of wet rice farming. First, the fields must be plowed. This part is usually done with animals, most commonly water buffaloes, although sometimes other types of domesticated pigs or hogs. After the fields are plowed, they are flooded with directed rivers and streams, or just rain. The seeds are then planted in a smaller separate field that is dry, called a nursery. After 3 to 4 weeks, the nursery is harvested. The seeds are then transferred to the flooded field where growth is promoted. The plants are then regularly weeded and fertilized by hand, resulting in most of the farmer's labor. Finally, the rice is harvested. Current issues concerning rice farming are due to the concerns over potential effects of genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. China won't establish industrial GMO farms and seeds. The deputy director who is in charge of GMOs in China's Ministry of Agriculture stated, "At present, GM rice is developing rapidly and its technology is advanced. However, the Agriculture Ministry won't plant it on an industrial scale in the short term. This could potentially affect the amount of rice and other crops grown via intensive subsistence farming, making it difficult to lower the high starvation rates in China because there will not be more food." After all this struggling, though, this is the intense life of the intensive subsistence wet rice dominant farmer. All this hard work and commitment proves that an intensive subsistence wet rice dominant farmer is a hard-working, strong, perfect person for you.